going on, guys? Jurassic here. Today we're back to Elite Dangerous Odyssey. Alright, so today we're going to work on our federal reputation while the Thargoid invasion is going on. We have a super easy mission that we can take advantage of. Now, before we get into it, let's go ahead inside of our outfitting so I can show you guys the general build. Now, we are going to be using the Type 8. This is a $48 million ship in-game, so it's relatively cheap to go into. And honestly, this one's not going to be near as expensive as actually the Titan bombing. You're going to notice we need 0 hard points. Every single one of these can be left blank. For utility, we're going to want an ECM and a heatsink launcher. The ECM is going to be super essential. That's basically what we're going to deploy in case we get a caustic missile launched at us. Now, technically, you could also add a caustic sink in as well if you're worried about getting hit. Theoretically, we shouldn't run into too many issues here, but let's go ahead and equip that just in case. All right, now for internals, we have our lightweight alloy. That's just going to make us faster. Now, I would put the best power plant and thruster that you're able to have at your station. This one only had a 5B and a 5A, so that's what we ended up with. But you'll see that nothing's actually engineered with this build. We do have a 5A SEO or a distributor, and the rest is basically just normal. Now, for optional, we're going to run all economy class cabins. Basically, this is going to allow the most amount of people inside of your ship at once. So you'll notice we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6E economy cabins. We have 1 5E economy. And then I went ahead and went a little bit weird and had 1 4C first class, just in case we happen to get like a decent mission for that. We are going to be running a 3A shield generator just to give a little bit extra protection. You don't necessarily need the advanced docking computer, but if you want to make it so it's easier whenever you have people on board, that's going to automatically dock you. And we have a 1D hull enforcement just to make it a little bit stronger. So all in all, it's going to be under 100 million to have this exact build. This is not going to be the most lucrative, but before we actually start, let's head over to our status page. I'm gonna scroll down, so we have 35% inside of the post captain. Let's do one of these missions and see where we actually end off on. Now, the reason why this is super good is you can actually stack them all together, so we're going to be able to grab several people all at once. So our goal here is actually going to be to head over to Seoul. FDev decided to make a change, so they actually have less Thargoids giving us issues going to and from Seoul. You might end up getting a high prediction though, and that's what the ECM is for. And also go and map up your caustic sink. So that'll be inside of your firing group, so let's put it inside of you. And let's just turn that off.
Ship released. Engines engaged.
You also have the ECM keybound. You cannot put the caustic sink on a keybind, however. The first part's relatively basic. All you have to do is get up some speed, activate your jump, and head over to Seoul. Now, occasionally you'll get stopped midway through. Sometimes you'll make a trip without even having a single thing stop you. Now, the easiest way I found to get around planets, if you have an SEO drive, you just hit the boost, get around the planet, line yourself up, and then you're able to jump, and it's just so much quicker. Same with stars. That's the exact same way that I always, whenever I go to a star, I look either left or right, hit the boost, get outside of the cone, and then you're able to move around freely. Now, if you have your thrusters engineered, it's going to make your ship much faster, so you'll be able to get hit much less, and this will make the run a little bit easier. We do have a little bit of a shield though, so that should help us summon the scouts. Hopefully we don't really run into too many issues. As you guys can see, this run clearly ran into a high prediction. So basically they're going to grab us from our jump, and it's going to slightly disrupt us. Our goal here is going to be to hit the boost as quickly as possible here, and try to avoid all hits. If you hear it sounds like a missile being locked on, you want to do your ECM. Now if you actually hear like a swishing noise, you want to do a much shorter charge. Goal here as soon as we get placed in is just keep on boosting away. You'll notice there's 2 different dots. It looks like there's no swarm, so it might just be 2 normal interceptors. Typically it'd be 4 if it was a scout, so it should be interceptors behind us, but we're not going to stop and look. The goal here is just to head over to Seoul, so we're going to ignore them as best as possible, and you're going to see our cooldown is almost up, and now we're able to do it. And now the swarm has spawned in, you'll notice that there's going to be a whole bunch of little white dots behind us. That's going to be the one that sort of messes up our shields a little bit. We have the 3A shield, so it is going to eat up a little bit. You'll see we drop down to 99 health, and it's going to slowly chunk away. We are about to jump outside of their range, so it's all good.
Under attack.
Now, so far, I've noticed that it seems to only happen one time. So as long as you survive this first one, you should be good to go all the way over to your destination. Alright, so now that we're inside of Seoul, once again, you don't really have to worry about Thargoids inside this area because it seems like they're all gathered around the main Titan right now. So we're going to head over to Mars High. One really cool thing about this strategy is the missions that say reputation, you don't necessarily need to grab the reputation missions. The reputation is mostly for the people who are actually giving the mission themselves, and it's not for your actual federal reputation. The federal reputation is going to be a stock quantity regardless of what you actually pick. So this is a really good way to farm up either engineering materials or to get a little bit of cash. Sometimes you'll get the 50 million missions. Typically though, they pay roughly about 2 million or less. Most of the time it's under 500k though. However, we have so many passenger cabins that we're able to grab several different missions at once, and that's why it's going to stack up our reputation so much faster, being able to turn in all these missions in one go. Now sometimes you'll get lucky and you'll get missions where it's like 2 passengers, and sometimes you get missions where it'll be like, no, we need 13 passengers, and then unfortunately it's going to be roughly about the same, so it doesn't really matter how many passengers are in there. I believe it's the same actual mission reputation for Federal. But the reason why you want to do this is once we get up in the ranks of Federal, you'll be able to unlock your Corvette. So right now you have at least 2 to 3 days to do this method to be super quick and easy about it. However, there will be slower ways to increase your Federal rank if you don't take the opportunity. Alright, so once you're landed, go to repair, refuel, head over to the starport services. This is where you head over to the mission board, and you want to click on the passenger lounge. Now click on group transportation. Now, for our specific example today, we're going to work on everybody that has a red symbol, so you don't really care about the bird. The bird is the independence, and they don't actually give you any like cool rewards at the end. However, all the red ones, they give you the Corvette at the end, so that's why we're focusing on it. And you'll notice that since we have a reputation up, we did get the $50 million mission, so we're definitely going to grab you and stick you inside of our cabin. Now, for example, you notice that this guy needs reputation compared to the rest, so what we could do is just unselect him, have this guy as the only one selected. Where it says all choices, we can go to reputation, and this is going to filter by reputation for him. They're not always going to be in the exact order for the best. And all of these are going to be focused on reputation for this guy specifically, not your federal, but that guy's reputation. The reason why you want to do that is the higher reputation you have in each of the different people, the better missions they'll give. So occasionally they'll give you the $50 million missions. So we'll fill that up, and we'll select everyone all again. And I recommend starting with materials, seeing what you got. So we scroll down here. Looks like we don't have any good materials. However, we'll click on this. You'll notice it's going to be reputation, influence, financial. You're going to notice this symbol here. That's not actually a engineering material. That's just going to be something for a cargo hold. We don't have a cargo hold, so we don't care about that. So that means we can filter for credits since they don't have anything good at this station, and just grab all the ones that pay decent. Some of them are going to be illegal. That's going to be the ones with the red symbol. Once again, we're not actually fighting, so it doesn't matter if you're grabbing something that's going to be a lot. Like this one, for example, this is 38 million. Our reputation's back, so we'll be able to grab our financials. So let's see, so 1, 8, and the reason why we're using this ship is because it has such a large cargo area to be able to hold all these people in one go. So far, this is a $90 million run. And honestly, I mean, it's going to be the exact same amount of work if you're doing like smaller missions, so it's not really like it's anything too crazy.
Incoming mission critical message.
Now, occasionally the first class people are going to give us a little bit of issues there, but we'll worry about that in a minute. Alright, so credits, the rest of these aren't really paying that much, so we can try to look for other things. Influence, for example. Influence does nothing for you. You don't really need influence in the game, so don't worry about that one at all. The main thing is going to be the materials and credits. So let's just grab all of the rest of the missions here and fill up our standard economy cabins. And we'll see if we get lucky with our first class. The first class is going to be a little bit separate though. Or we're going to be completely full. Never mind. Well, that works out for us. So now, all we gotta do is launch. Head over inside, set our destination. Now it's going to have a mark on the map. It's going to look like this little yellow symbol here, or it's also going to be Lone Star, which is where we started out from.
Ship released. Engines engaged. Landing gear retracted.
Before we actually go too far, once again we head over to our status. You can see we are at 35% post-captain once we get to the end of our destination and turn in all of our missions. We'll see where we end up on in this one run. Occasionally you're going to have a interceptor pop around here. They don't seem to actually attack anymore though, but they might sit there and turn your power off just to mess with you, and then they'll just leave the area. The broken station acts a little weird, so technically you don't necessarily have to get outside of the mast for it to tell you the mast isn't locked anymore. I think it's because it's halfway broken, and you just line up with the star. Once again, that Thargoid's going to be popping in. Usually we'd be getting shot right about now though, because we're not even moving, we're sitting still. We need to throttle up, so the easiest way to do this is to push forward on it and give yourself a little bit of boost. That'll sort of force it to automatically jump. The easiest way I found to find the rescue ship is if you click 1, you'll see where it says system map. And you just look for the yellow symbol here, so you'll see rescue ship hunter, and that's where we're going. So I know this is a little bit of a longer video than shorter ones that we typically do, but I wanted to try to show it in complete real time. That way you guys can see how fast you're able to do this, and also to see how easy it is. Obviously we ran into the one interceptor, it dropped us down to like 77% in the very beginning. So far though, literally a super easy run. We made money, we didn't risk anything. We did it all in a little under 20 minutes. Alright, so now that we made it to Rescue Ship Hunter, once you get within 7.5 kilometers, we can request to dock. We have the auto dock, so you don't even have to worry about crashing at this point. It's going to be nice and easy, and this is where the relaxing part of the game is going to be.
Incoming mission critical message.
Not always going to get lucky and end up with 2 decently paying missions. However, we got kind of lucky in this run, and it also shows that you guys are able to make a decent amount of money doing this setup.
Engines disengaged.
Alright, so once we're docked, we head over to our normal services, click on the mission board, click on passenger lounge, click on completed missions, and now you can select all the missions to complete.
Incoming message.
Now it's solely up to you if you decide to choose credits or reputation. A lot of the times if you're a little bit lower when it comes to reputation, you want to at least raise that up. Or if you're relatively decent with them, you can decide this guy is going to show independence because it's just inside this area, although it was Federation on the other side. But we're going to grab our engineering. You're going to notice it says rarity grade. Basically you'll see rarity grade 1 through 5. 5 is always a guarantee, just grab it because that's going to be the best ones for you. 1, however, is useful sometimes, so may as well grab that as well, especially if you're newer to the game and needing engineering materials.
Incoming message.
Should also mention that this one run paid for this entire ship, which is why I recommend using it.
Incoming message.
So now you're going to notice that this is allied for this guy over here, so we don't care about the reputation, let's just grab the credits. Now we could rank up this dude, but once again, we don't care about independence, so let's grab the money again. Basically, that's how you just have to pick and choose. So regardless of what the end result is, it's going to start with Federation, and it's also going to be turned in from this guy. So it's going to give you Federation regardless, and you can choose to level up him if you wanted to.
Incoming message.
Alright, so now that we turned all that in, now if you happen to have an accident to where your ship ends up blowing up and you have to sit there and get repaired to where you have a crime stat, well, there is going to be a way to do that. So I'll show you where to go to, but you want to click on the contacts and you're looking for a space that has interstellar actions going on. So this place does not have one. However, if we head over to the map, it's Y08550714. It's one jump away from Sol. Basically, this place will have an interstellar factor. All you have to do is contact the right one inside of the main station there, and they'll sit there and allow you to pay for your bounty. That way you're able to continue doing your bounties in Sol. Now, with that said, with all the quests that we turned in, we went from 35 to 45%, so we jumped up 10%, and we're also post-captain, so we are actually at a relatively high rank when it comes to it. So if you were in a lower rank, you would be getting a lot more per, which is actually really nice. If this guide helped you guys out, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.